Okay, let's go សួស្តីអ្នកគ្នាស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់ការី Restream នេះគឺជាជំនួបរវាងPro Esports ប៉ះជាមួយនឹងយ៉ាងកន Galacticos គឺនៅពាក្យ knockout stage ឯអ្នកគ្នា let's go តោះខ្ញុំ end minute មួយសិន
lost their first game against Pro. It took them, what, 30 minutes to finish it?
True.
And they were able to crawl back at it. We thought that, oh, they're pretty much done. This Fanny is close to 10 kills, 0 deaths, multitudes of assists. But then they were still able to crawl it through. At least they have that to hold on to.
Yeah. But do you agree? I mean, there's a dynamic there of experience in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think for Pro as well. I mean, if you look at it, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I actually think they have the longest average game duration, right? So again, for them, it's always, if you look at that stat, kind of weird because they don't play in the late game. They're not a team that actually plays around the utilities and waits for their carries to get to a point where they need their power spikes. No, they're a team that actually dominates the early game. So that's a big question mark for them, especially against Yangon as we get into this rematch. Yangon are so good. And that's, I think, one of the main things I saw from Yangon Galacticos that was the big difference compared to all the other Burmese teams is that they know how to play the late game. Even when they're down 10,000, they know when to wait or how to wait for their power spikes. And they know how to identify their power spikes in the late game.
Major scale. You look at Pro Esports in Cambodia. What does this mean for them on this stage at MSC?
It means everything, especially for Cat God, man. He's been here 2024, a disappointing run, disappointing series. It's time for Cambodia and Pro to prove to the world that they're here. They're meant to be here, and they deserve to be on the main stage.
They've had 10 seasons of MPL Cambodia now. It's high time we get to see them in the top 4. But Yangon Galacticos are standing on their way, and they are hungry to get Myanmar back on top, as they said earlier.
It's not just a battle of the draft or in the game. Shoot, it's not even a fight for the Lord. MLBB has come to Paris, and with that, in the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet, the biggest trophy this season so far for MLBB is on the line. Will it be Yangon Galacticos from Myanmar, or will it be Pro Esports from Cambodia who move on to face Team Vitality versus Team Falcons PH? When the lights are bright, it's about how you show up.
Let's
and
go,
sometimes
let's go,
showing
let's
up
go,
is just
guy.
getting the job done. No talk, no words. It's time to play. MLBB MSC begins now.
Song sắc, nhưng tre tới song sắc anh. Oh my god.
Milosh, what the heck do you think you're doing? What do you mean, what?
What do you want? Who is this? Rose? What's up?
We have to open and start a show, duh.
No, just a second. What? Do you think beauty is just born like this? Do you think I wake up pretty? I need time. This stuff takes effort.
You're wanna talk. I'm not gonna open the show myself, mister.
Okay, well, sorry. Let's just, whatever.
We have to go. Chop, guys. And finally, after my co-host took forever to get ready, we are finally here and ready to kickstart the first day of the knockout stages here at MSC at EWC 2026.
What a fun time it's been through group stage last week, but now we kick it all into high gear. Crazy to think that only a few days ago, we started with 16 of the best teams in the world in MLBB here at MSC EWC 2026. As you know, we're down to only 8. But those are the best of the best, the cream of the crop that rose to the top. Speaking of which, she's right by my side. We have a lot to get into because things really head up. Best of 3s, they're gone. All BO5s until our best of 7 final this Saturday.
You are right, Milosh, because starting today, it's gonna be best of 5s, and today we have 2 best of 5s. Of course, the team that wins will continue their journey to the semi-final, being 1 step closer to the trophy. And the one that loses, well, that's it. That's it for EWC 2026.
No second chances from this moment on. We got a ton of rematches and a ton of regional rivalries to get through. So let's get our teams on the stage. Our first squad, please welcome Yangon Galacticos! The top seed from Group B, MSL Myanmar champions. They've remained undefeated at 4-0 so far, and they've chosen their path to finals here at MSC 26. From quick finishes to long 30-minute bouts, they can hang with the best. But how far will their journey last in Paris?
Ooh, this is gonna be a battle of the dark horses. But of course, the team that will be facing them will be Pro Esports from Cambodia.
Pro Esports មួយមើល
This team came in strong by dropping the 2024 champions down to the lower bracket. But after they themselves got dropped, they're here to ensure that history doesn't repeat itself and they get the revenge they are looking for up against Yangon Galacticos.
The story could not be any better. The two faced off in the group stage, and who did YG pick to play against them here? None other than Pro Esports. So let's get this one started. Please, my friends, you may place your keys on both sides. Gentlemen, Yangon, please, Pro and captains, remember to shake hands. One of you is going home at the end of this best of 5 series. Fist bumps all around, excitement no matter what. Our matchups begin. This is the knockout stage of MLBB MSC.
The echoes in the land of dawn continue to resound. The champions who once ruled have fallen.
Team Liquid Philippines will not move forward in MSC here at EWC 2026.
As the throne stands empty once more, a new era has begun to take its shape, and a new king must rise above. Team Vamos, their journey seems far through trials and scars, yet they believe they will rise above all stars. Team Vitality, the dream they chased has led them to this stage. A new chapter for Indonesia begins on this page. Pro Esports, they defeated the champions who once led the way. The world will see how they earned their place today. Team Spirit, through every setback, their spirit grew strong. They will carry the dragon's crest to show where legends belong. Yangon Galacticos, more than teammates, they are a family forged through the fight. They chase for glory to make their nation proud for life. Team Falcons PH, the trophy slipped away but never their fire. Now they return to reclaim the title they desire. Onyx, their road is tough, with new challenges across the lands, but they'll face every battle and make their final stand. Aurora Gaming, the world has begun to speak their name. This is Aurora Gaming's time to reign. 8 contenders remain. Some fight as the new hopes of their nation. Some fight for a glory that was almost within reach. But all 8 paths lead to the same legacy.
All paths lead to the same legacy. And this legacy begins right now on stage 3 here at EWC 2026. Esports are getting started all over, some in their opening stages, while at MLBB, MSC, we are firmly in the knockouts. These teams know each other, they faced each other. Renmar, Mirko, now it's time for the rematch that could decide somebody's fate in this tournament and will send somebody home.
Yangon Galacticos, any team that comes out of Myanmar will always have the ghouls of the past hovering over their shoulders. People asking them, the country asking them, rise above, get the championship in an international that we weren't able to get in our second World Championship. While for Pro, a region hungry for recognition to solidify themselves as some of the best in the world.
And it's the dynamic of those two storylines colliding, and also these two teams with their clear identities, those play styles that'll be clashing again. Yangon Galacticos, a team that has also went back to rely on utility jungles, gone back to their ways in MSL Myanmar. What crazy picks await us here, right? I mean, Coach Marv's, Coach MGod, the way that they're able to dominate in MSL Myanmar wasn't just through playing the fundamentals, being clutch in the late game, but it was through these crazy picks that you would put on Blink, those Hellcat roams, those crazy junglers, even Ying sometimes on the carries. Could they possibly pull it off here against Pro, who are just trying to double down on the meta.
In our discussion about the metagame throughout the group stages, there's a C word that popped up. Not just crazy, but creativity. How creative can you get with the picks available in terms of where you're going to put them? Barrett's in the EXP, well, he can also be played in the jungle. Mathilda as the roam, nope, surprise, she can actually be played as a mid laner. All of these are now leading to this point. We've had 2 days where teams, we've got to talk to them. They said, we've been training our butts off, just trying to break the code of this meta, trying to come up with our own way to play the game.
I'll throw out another C word, calibration. Because I think these teams have seen what's worked, but they've also seen what hasn't worked against their opponent. And now it's time to figure out, how do we split the difference in terms of the stuff that we know is effective in this meta, but also the stuff that we've been punished with when we've tried to go up against Yangon earlier on. These two teams have fought for certain heroes. Uranus has been one of them. But YG, on the other flip side, has experimented and never failed. They haven't lost yet. And I gotta say that in the draft, that is the one thing that I'm wary of coming into it, Mirko, because if you haven't lost, you're not gonna change much, and why would you?
Ooh, I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And for Yangon Galacticos, that's been, I think, their core identity throughout MSL Myanmar. Entire season, in the regular season, when we were seeing fighters up to now. And one of the doubts that I had for Yangon Galacticos is very similar to one that I had for TL, is that Han is such a good utility jungle that we might be seeing more of the utility jungles instead of it. Fanny and Ling ban. I think now we're going back to that. The Freya's left open though, so Yangon Galacticos will just build from there. They pick up the Freya. It's a good flex pick. They've also already taken out one of the counters for it, the Phoveus.
Yep.
So now it's open anywhere. Now, Pro, do they go for the straight up counter against the Freya? Do they pick it up?
Let's see if they do. Are they going to double down on the utilities? You still have the Nolan option for Assassin if ever, but then what happens if you pick the Nolan early, you show it up, and then suddenly you're going through a very aggressive Freya, you're up against utility. Things like Akai might still be available, but a Valentina as an option for these two would be great. And Pro continues now to actually look at the drafts of Yangon and taking away some comforts. They've taken away comforts from their roam and mid. The mid laner for Yangon has only played 2 heroes this tournament, Gord and Eudora.
Exactly. Massive pivot for Pro. We're talking about doubling down in the meta game. They might still do that with the Nolan Red 3, but before they do that, they steal away. They deny some of these big picks for Yangon Galacticos. Han, game 1, beat Pro with a Fredrin Gord. They take away the Guinevere, anticipating the Fredrin Red 3 from Pro with the Juicin in mid.
And the Cho is also a hero that they've won a game with. They're 1-0 on a Cho. And going back to what's worked, I mean, you come up with a game plan. This looked good for us. You take something away. I like this draft already.
As much as you want to try and escape from utilities and junglers in the meta, sometimes you can just take away a few and suddenly you're back to a few months ago. Guinevere, Baxia, welcome back to the utility junglers.
Only when Hirara, Fanny, and Ling are banned do we get to see these heroes, man. Again, just, ban it out. I like what Yangon Galacticos are doing, especially for game number 1, right? They're trying to get the momentum. They want to stick to their comfort, so they just ban it out. And now we have to talk about later on. You see the glue bans coming down again. It really just seems like we're replaying the meta of Wildcard all over again.
And again, I feel like we have to somewhat thank Team Falcon's Mena for this, because they're the only team that banned out both Ling and Hirara blue side, and we saw how that led to their game. It led to going back to the utilities, going back to the tanks in the jungle. But you still have the new elements you have to take into consideration. Esmeralda, Mathilda especially would be a nightmare to deal with for that Gord. Seems like Pro and Yangon are both going to be front to back, with Yangon having more options to break the formation of Pro.
Exactly. I think it's for Pro a little bit more front to back. They really want to play around that Gord, and so I think the carry here will be a very, very good man on top of the Esmeralda. Phoveus, Esmeralda, both already counters to the Freya. The carry is just another cherry on top, just to give Freya a little bit more space in the goal if he does go there, or even in XP, right? Because you want to have a Purify here against this lineup. You don't want to go Vengeance against a Cho Gord Baxia on the Freya.
Oh,
but they banned the Sora.
They take away the Sora as an option. I believe that is... Oh yeah, that's one of the notes that I have here for Pro. Watch out for their Sora in the EXP lane. So they pick up the Moskov. Our hunch is right. It is very front to back back for Pro. Yangon has enough options for dive, and they say, why not more? Let's pick up the Claude. And I think a very solid roamer with Revitalize might be good here.
The Beleric is still up for grabs, though I'm not a big fan of it knowing how much poke there is on Pro.
Yeah.
Especially with the Cho early prio as well, so we might just be seeing...
It's Gatotable, if you think about it.
It is Gatotable, but the Gourd, I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see here. Claude also a character that Yangon have won with and Pro Esports have lost with, so they don't actually really care too much that the Claude is there, but it is that dive that's going to pressure the Gourd. How can they deal with this? Keep that front to back you were talking about, Mirko. What pick works well to help?
Carmilla!
Wow.
I mean, if we're talking punishing front to backs, punishing team comps that rely on sticking together, that's a pretty good pick.
Theoretically, just looking at everything on paper, I love what Yangon Galacticos have drafted here.
So much AoE as well.
So much AoE that Carmilla is going to give a lot of headaches for Pro if ever they cannot get good momentum to start with. Because if things are even and Yangon can play a normal team fight to Pro Esports front to back, then Yangon will continuously tear through them.
And technically, we were talking about Blink already, right? Earlier on, how did they win, dominate MSL Myanmar? It was through Blink getting his picks, random picks, cheesy picks. It was the Hellcurt, it was more damage oriented, but now we get to see a little bit more of whatever Carmilla is right now. She has a lot of damage just putting it down there, Curse of Blood for the rest of the team. But now for Pro, it's just doubling down on early game snowball, trying to contest those neutral objectives, kind of dictating the pace of those early neutral objectives.
Early stun, maybe a level 4 ult from Gourd could get a pick. Pressure from Cho and Yuzhong rounds it out. How do you feel about it, Renmark?
Oh, sorry, Felix loves the Yuzhong. Has been one of his best picks historically. Plus, Claude needs to watch out for that Petrify. A lot of execution, little things you got to watch out for in the early to mid game, especially for Yangon, because that's their window. If they get to succeed in their window, they're going to steamroll right through.
Well, they've got the draft, but again, I ask this question, will it be a rerun or a remake? Will we see the same result in YG push through? Will Pro Esports find the solution? The final pick, Yuzhong. We'll see how much of an impact it has as we get this set underway. It's going to be Naisu on the cast alongside Leo. Welcome back, buddy.
And here we go. We waited a couple days leading into the knockouts, and now it's finally here. This is the best part of the tournament, and we get to see what adjustments have been made for our team. Starting off with Yangon Galacticos and Pro Esports. Leo, welcome back. We missed you, man. We're jumping into this one.
Mingalaba and Homoy Mao to all of the Cambodian and Burmese fans watching. This is a best of 5, and the action starts now. Neither side, I'd say, has clear mid-prio, because early on, you see a Carmilla, you think it's safe, and then you stay there maybe 2 seconds longer, and then she deals a lot of damage next thing you know.
You're just cursed. You know, that Curse of Blood, that ultimate that Carmilla has is what could make this so deadly. Again, fighting around what they have with this composition, even when you look at the emblems that they're running, there is a good fight potential for just Yangon Galacticos to play off Blink.
Gold lane, you see that both are just jockeying for position. Sanji and Kozin looking for that quick rotation out. Quick duel, both at less than half health right now. Sanji has the level up, BMI back.
This is such a odd thing too, and I know the panel shared the sentiments. Same thing. Hold on. Bottom lane.
Ying, rocking the Purify, dueling against 2, you were saying.
Okay. To go back to where the meta was just a little bit ago, maybe that is the solution. Just ban out those assassin junglers that have been being picked up so much throughout the course of MSC. You know, the Ling, the Harara, the Fanny now. And I'm wondering if that'll be the case, just because, again, it's the nature of the best of 5. You've got some variations you can go through, especially Game 1 and Game 2, depending how this series goes. But, so what you can expect is a little bit of a slower paced game because of the nature of the junglers that are in play here. You know, the fact that it's Guinevere. Oh, hold on, Han.
Oh, sorry, I'm feeling the retribution source, the jungler. Out of the equation for Yangon early on. Turtle spawns.
Well, that's unfortunate. So this is just going to be a turtle over to Pro Esports. A really good setup. And this is why they were saying, you know, you got to watch out for that Petrify. Sorry, I'm Felix. This is one of his best heroes, this Yuzhong that he's been able to go ahead and showcase throughout so far.
PPP coming in does not force the issue. They do get the Purify on Sanji. They pop that.
Pop that Purify, man. But again, you don't want to let this Yuzhong scale up an advantage in the lane matchup alone, and that's why, here's a setup.
Han finds a Requiem. Kaizen looking to take him down. Gives the kill over to the jungler. Han finds his redemption. Now they pressure Coily. Coily will be able to secure the orange. Rolling away.
All right, he gets one back. That's fine, evens things out. Han, again, on this Guinevere, so important to go ahead and either lead that charge. You give space to your Claude for Sanji to farm up, get to where he needs to be, get that power spike on the trinity of items. But right now, this is the course. Play around Han, set up potential. Eventually, the beacon is there as well.
A minute prior to the second turtle, I think Yangon Galacticos have already undone the early damage Sword and Felix dealt. We're back to 50-50. This is neutral. And it's a matter of how fast Ying can make it to that gold lane, and now they find Sa. That soft little gore, the choke down on the Coily, holding on to that Puissance, does not get pressured to press it down, holding it for the 30-second turtle coming up.
Too unfortunate. You can't really flicker, you know, in time, I guess, with Sa there on the gore, just because of how quick that setup with the spatial migration happens. So Yangon Galacticos doing a really good job just finding these little moments across the map. You can see, though, how quickly they're actually rotating across the map, and that's why now, if you're Pro Esports, having this Cho in the hands of PP here, he's got to be able to go ahead and land that kick, land that setup, you know, and then capitalize on it. Skypiercer's picked up for Sa now, too, on this court, so if he's able to get stacks, he's a big threat with that Mr. Gush.
Pro Esports not going to take this line down despite the early pickoff. Yangon Galacticos up by a significant 500 gold. Jockeying for position. PPP getting pressured by Kaize. Purifies all off of cooldown on Yangon. Ying and Blink just pressuring the turtle.
Okay, he wants to get his orange quick. Coily's going to be here in time. He's going to roll on through. Ding.
And the Puissance is in. It's good. Blink with the revitalized Han with the retribution to secure the turtle. Down goes Soria Felix. PPP follows through. Coily finds Han. Felix falls in, and they're not done. They want Coily, and they'll get him, and they eventually will get the kill on Sanji. This Claude is farming up good.
2 kills already after the second turtle. Looking for Sa.
Another choke down. One more. Ying gets it.
Man, talk about a switch. Yangon Galacticos just decides to go in high drive, takes the turtle, takes some kills. Now they will capitalize on a tier 1 in mid. Oh, they're not stopping here.
PPP, one more. Kaize gets it. Who has the Skypiercer? Coily jumps in, finds Kaize. Kaize will still not take this line down. He keeps on going. Han from the flank. Joseph, who has the Skypiercer?
After this replay, we got to take a look at the items here. But this one, again, great team fighting. You know, this is what we're talking about. The threat, that AoE threat of this lineup, that is there for Yangon Galacticos, is so deadly. And you wouldn't expect the Klon to be able to go ahead and get this much, you know, value out of that this early on. But a double kill helps Sanji scale up even more at this point. So, you know, fighting into that is something that's going to be difficult, especially for a Cho. You can take a look at the items here real quick. We'll see exactly who has the Skypiercer. Wow. Okay, so it's just Sa.
Yeah, no, Yangon Galacticos are playing close to the chest despite almost being 3,000 gold up. They decide to be conservative and say, nope, we're going to spread the goods.
Yeah, this is... maybe it's the case where we see Kaize pick it up later, as we've seen with Jushin's before. Eventually, maybe second, third item. He's already got the glowing wand. He'll be going... So he's just going to go to the Clock of Destiny next, I would assume. But again, these variations of the build, especially for the Jushin, has changed depending on the game, depending on the composition, and that's what they're going to play it. So right now, Pro Esports...
Oh! Sanji here, purifies, blazing duet on the Kozen, life stealing away from the small wave. But you can see that he hasn't invested in that just yet, just building the golden staff.
Just getting the golden staff. Had to pop the Purify. He's not going to have that for this turtle, nor will he have the ultimate. We'll see if Pro Esports wants to go ahead and try to capitalize on that. Maybe get the turtle. They're in range for this Coily. Win for the rest of the team to get here. PP just off the corner.
Gets that kick. Displaces him. Ying with the Valkyrie's descent. Turtle still with the retribution range. Revitalized. It's Coily who threads the needle. Han falls to Soria and Felix, but Ying still finishes the job. Finds Coily. A trade 2 for 1. Kazi gets Felix right now. Ying is on a warpath.
Ooh, this is a problem, you know, when you're trying to disengage, get away. Yes, you got the turtle, but you can't get away from the fight, you know, and that's what happens with this. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, Sanji's not pressing that.
He's not pressing
that.
Just
a mile away.
Has the Moscow voice line changed?
No. But he has hit the SODs, significantly so for the past 7 minutes. It's just, you know, the one time he pressed it, they still lost.
That's true, that's true. Oh no, he's actually gonna be in trouble now. Kozen?
Okay, he finds a dash to the other side. PPP looking for a punish. Massive Requiem finds Kozen regardless. And now they might find PPP too! Another one! Goes over to Yangon! A snare set by the Burmese!
This is what I was talking about, Leo. Like when you're trying to get away from the fight, when you're trying to disengage, it's that much more difficult because you have that ability to be dragged back to the opposing team because of the Jushin. And then on top of it, you got Han just having a heyday, jumping in. I mean, this is a composition that can just cut off all your angles because you got a Freya, you got a Guinevere. There's, you know, I feel like even for Blink, it's been kind of low-key what he's been able to do with the Carmilla, but it's all part of the plan.
It's a mobile box. Essentially what we've been missing throughout the first week of MSC. The fact that we thought we could win with the Eves, with the more, you know, immobile heroes like Eudora.
Yeah.
What Yangon Galacticos has through Coach Marvs and MGod is they made a mobile box, Joseph. Wherever Blink is where that box is.
And it's a circle.
Yeah.
It's a circle, you know?
It's a tetrahedron.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that seems to be working so well with a mobile lineup like this. Now this Lord's coming up here. Pro Esports has really struggled, aside from Coily, again, being on this Moksha. We've seen it before, you know, the little drive-bys, but trying to get this retribution. Okay, he's not going to get thrown up in the air with that spatial migration. Right now, Yangon Galacticos has advantage around this Lord. You've got a push down bot from Kozen.
Massive fight. Valkyrie's descent, Ying versus 3. Make that 2. SOD thrown out. Han secures it. Will Kozen press it? He's already here. Amongst the fight. Into the back line. Sanji puts him in half health. Finds one. Make it another. Double kill for this Claude. And that's enough to keep Pro Esports at bay. Yangon with 2 kills and a Lord.
Man, I can't believe that also Ying was just able to buy so much time on this Freya. You know, when he goes Valkyrie form, that's enough to go ahead and keep a lot of the members of Pro Esports at bay. And then it was a great time to just allow the Claude to come in. Sanji, again, 4-0-3, just having a massive game. This is a much more early than what we're used to for Claude's kind of popping off already, having this many kills, but you can already see it. The follow-through off of the setup is what's working so well. Now, Lord will charge into this mid-turret.
PPP finds a kick, serves up 1, but it's not going to be enough as the Lord crashes into the base. Kozen throwing these spears out. Coily in trouble with the Puissance. The damage reduction ain't enough. It's a 1-for-1. Up right beneath them is their turret fall, and bottom lane shield goes down too. This is defensive Black Dragon form.
Okay, they can use it. Swinging around. Sario and Felix trying to help here.
Felix survives but gets choked back and slammed. 3 have fallen to try and defend.
They'll take this last turret here. Kozen's still up, Pete. Jumping in with that concealed. Just wants to get them off of this. They don't want this game to end just yet. Can they hold this base defense? They've got to wave down bot.
Another Valkyrie's descent. PPP not strong enough to hold out. And there's a Gush trying to kick him out. And there's a massive kick. Sanji wants to end it right here.
Oh my God.
One small minion followed by a wave. Yangon Galacticos. An emphatic win, game 1.
Such a quick victory here for Yangon Galacticos. Just barely reaching that 11-minute mark. It just feel like they switched the switch to go, man. They went on go very quickly in this one, and it felt like Pro Esports struggled to find a way to play against that mobile box or that mobile circle that we're talking about here.
0 to 100 in 11 minutes.
Exactly.
Sanji had a gold lane experience from the start to the end.
Double kill early on allows the Claude to scale up much faster. But it wasn't even just that. It was just the great team fighting that was on showcase here from Yangon Galacticos in game 1.
He was triple waving and then winning objectives. They lost more turtles than they took, but when you look at the map, it's turrets for turtles. Which one you would rather have?
Oh, yeah. And this is interesting, too, just because, you know, first, I guess, debut pick for Carmilla. You kind of wonder, what did she do? Well, Blink is that guy. He's that roamer to be able to go ahead and pull out some of these hero picks that are unique. And it's very unique to Yangon Galacticos because I know it's mentioned too, he does play a roam Hellcurt and he can play this roam Carmilla, and you see this work so well. again, look across the board. A lot of these members of Yangon Galacticos didn't even die. And that's just how well protected and team fighting centric they were to allow this to happen in such a quick manner here. So again, a very quick game one. Even with this different, bringing out some utility junglers here, it all worked out. So let's go ahead and throw it over to the studio to break down our game one.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, game one goes the way of Yangon Galacticos super early on and super convincingly. We talked about the Undying, the immovable object. 4 members from Yangon Galacticos did not die in game one. The only exception, the person getting a bunch of kills, Han, as well, got some deaths, but I think they'll take that trade. 11-minute game. Renmar and Mirko, guys, that was dominant.
Yeah, we hate to say we told you so, but we told you so. It's exactly as we saw it and read it in the draft. Kaizen and Sanji now has their 4th game where they're deathless, and the formation breaking that Yangon Galacticos has with their lineup just was too deadly to deal with for Pro.
I think even if the front to back worked well, even if Pro Esports, were able to execute it properly, the Carmilla was already a good enough answer to deal with it. And again, it just comes down to the draft. I think for YG, they were prepared for everything. They were prepared for the Gorge steal, the Cho steal as well. They picked up the Guinevere, denied the Fredrin, and without the Fredrin, the Baksha Gorge just looked like a very awkward solution to the problem.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. It felt like I wasn't watching Pro, and you could tell that they're missing a little bit of that tempo setting, aggression. They are playing as if they can set the tempo and can dive and be aggressive, leaving Sa behind often on that Gord.
People were saying it wasn't, backstage, just for the Gord and the Cho, that wasn't enough.
Nope, definitely not. No, I mean, you needed some more fronts that can actually CC opponents, right? For the Baksha, you're more of a tempo-oriented character instead of the Fredrin that wants to peel back. So as a Baksha, you go in, you try to invade early as well. They did get mid-prio, but on a Gord, it's just not something you can really utilize to invade, because you're breaking your own line technically by moving past. Ying though, man, on the Freya. I think whoever got the Freya at the end of the day would have just had an amazing time, because again, the Freya was first pick. We were saying Pro needs to get something to deal with the Freya.
Yeah.
Phoveus was banned out. The Esmeralda I thought would be red 3, but they instead picked up the Baksha. And again, for Pro, they're going to really have to find out how to deal with this. They cannot play the utility game against Yangon Galacticos. They're not a good team when it comes to utility. They're a very chaotic team that relies on mechanics to actually win out the early game. So if you give Yangon a utility matchup, it's just a big stompy stomp, brother.
Yeah, Ying was just left unchecked. And you could tell that with harkening back to a playstyle that was from just a few months ago, few weeks ago, it seemed like Pro was completely out of their comfort. It seems like for a moment that they forgot how to deal with a lineup like this. Again, leaving their Gord, leaving Ying unchecked. It really just seems like they were shocked to go back to a previous playstyle.
And it's so good because it worked out so well in the end, right? Out of all the utility picks that were nerfed, one of the only ones that was left completely untouched in the patch was the Guinevere. We saw the nerfs onto the Baksha, the Akai, and the Fredrin, and they got themselves a Guinevere to deny the Fredrin, which worked so well and forced the Baksha pick.
Yeah, it was nice to see the way that so many of those things comboed as well. You had the Zushin who could pick up off the ultimate and allow Guinevere to get the ult off. You also had the Freya as she collapsed onto her ult to be able to get quick knockups. So they had a lot of synergy there. As we were talking again, just watching this, Gideon saying this just works too easy. And I think that, again, needs to be where Pro Esports have to apply a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, just with how they were able to manipulate the draft in such a way that everything favored them was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to break down that draft, actually.
You got a draft, Mirko? What do you got for us?
I got a draft, I got a lot to talk about in the drafts, honestly, because I feel like it was completely won by Yangon Galacticos in this draft. Renmar.
All right, I got you.
So, we got this right now. Hold on. Hey. Hold on.
Slap K with PNP.
There you go. All right. So, firstly, we got to talk about the first 2 bans, right? I think for me, it's just, brother, when you know your comfort is purely on utility, or not purely, but you are more comfortable on utility, force it out. It's completely fine to actually force it out. You ban the Fanny, you ban the Ling, but it's also, I gotta say, the response from Pro, I think they panicked a little bit. Seeing the Fanny and the Ling, they wanted to have something else. They wanted to be prepared. They wanted to have like a deny pick over with a Gord, and they instead banned out the Hirara. Where in this point, I think we know that if even if you let the Hirara go, it will be good for you to take it as a response, or it will be great for you to counter it with the Nolan. They got baited into this playstyle by banning the Marcel, banning the Atlas, and leaving the Hirara, and they even got baited into playing this composition because they first picked the Gord and the Cho.
Yep.
Basically confirming that they want to go for the Fredgen, they want to deny everything away from Yangon Galactico's side. So again, it was the Freya first pick into these two picks starting it up. And this basically locks you in to a front-to-back, complete front-to-back. Nothing you can do about it, right? Because you have to play for your Gord. You have to play for your Cho and use that mid-prio. But with the Fredgen, number one, you wouldn't even be able to utilize that mid-prio too much unless you control neutral objectives. And that's why the Guinevere was just so good here. This forced the Baksha pick. This forced the composition to go derail away from the main win conditions straight up. Because on the Baksha, you want to go fast, but with the Gord, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Yangon Galacticos, they made sure that this matchup that Pro didn't really capitalize on Red 3 by not picking the Esmeralda, not picking up a winning lane against a Freya, got completely punished later on. Because then they were completely set on, again, playing that pure front to back. If they picked Carry instead of the Moskov, it would have actually been worse because of this Carmilla pick. This Carmilla pick is just so good against any front-to-back composition that wants to stick around. And that's why their only solution to the problem was the Yuzong pick, which was, in my opinion, not that bad considering the circumstances. That was their last pick to basically say, all right, the only way we win this game is if we snowball hard from the start. And it looked pretty good at the start because they were able to catch on.
They got an early kill.
Unfortunately, their composition still had one win condition. And it was just playing that front-to-back, even with that early kill. So if it wasn't a 2-3K gold lead at the start of the game, it's chopped.
Yep. And we actually have some plays to back up everything that we've mentioned about the draft, even leading into this one. All right, so I need you this time around.
Man, look at the teamwork here.
Yeah, it's all teamwork up here.
And you're leaning. No one's standing or anything. We're like composed to start off knockout stages. I like this.
So just two moments here that really stood out for me. It's how Pro Esports really managed this first fight. Once that first fight wants to play out. Oh, what's happening here? Hey. Whatever. Okay, we can just go ahead and look at this. All right, so you see how we go back to it once again real quickly. Sa left behind, that is cardinal sin when you're going up against a lineup that wants to dive and you have one major damage dealer in the early game. I feel like they also put too much value on their Moskov being able to be a major presence in terms of the damage. Look what happens to Sa. Once their formation is broken like that, they got no damage. No matter what kind of combo that you get, you already have heroes under your belt here. Beneath the ultimate of the Carmilla, it's not going to be a good time. And then with that going down really quickly, without their Gord, you see how quickly they're crumbling. They're able to get the turtle, sure, but this is where, again, we go back into the Freya getting left unchecked. Coily will just get slashed through by this Freya. The rest of Yangon Galacticos will be able to recover from not being able to get the turtle. Because again, look where Sa needed to go. He had to go loop around behind the wall, loop all the way back to the turret, leading to Ying being able to get the double kill. And this was after we saw that big fight earlier for, I believe that was turtle number 2, where we get to see a classic return to some old rotations, wherein after you win turtle 2, you go right here. Where's the zoom button? All right, you know what? Let's just circle it in the map. Where you could go to the center of the map and be able to break the tower. You don't see it here, but the tower goes down so quickly because of how many members of Pro went down. The minion waves were crashing in. They maximized the gold in the turret and mid, and then were able to break it. After that, that's pretty much GG. It would take a miracle for Pro to lose this game.
It's an interesting thing because you mentioned Sa's rotation, but looking at that, I think he chose to get into the fight quickly because the turtle was in the middle of it. But because he got pressured from that angle, he had to abandon the entire fight. If he had gone a little bit, and again, this is just looking at what you showed me, where he tried to end up going, that took a while once they were all dead. Maybe that patience. But again, he's working against, like you guys had said, tempo. We got to win fast. We got to win turtle. We got to win early. And so, of course, he's taking the quickest route. It just seemed like maybe there was more to do than there was that they could do in that early game. Mentioning this matchup, Sariam, Felix, and Ying. Felix 4-0. Again, several members. I think it was 4 by the time I looked at it in the green room. It might have been 3 or stayed 4 that did not die. Guys, I mean, this is just, they've got to find an answer.
Yeah, strong side lanes with the utility in the center. Even though Han went down 3 times, they're fine with it because their Freya's untouched, their Claude is untouched, their Juicin was ripping through the formation and the play style of Pro. With all of that said, Yeah, that was their game to lose.
This is what makes Yangon Galacticos so scary, right? Because they can play the utility game. They can also play some of those assassins if you leave it open. The Fanny, again, we've seen from Han as well. Not as scary as the utility game because, man, when they get those picks on Ying, when Ying's able to just carry, it's so good. But, again, back to the point at hand here.
You mean the fact that Rhino Day is available in the shop?
That too.
We've been talking about. I mean, that's been the whole conversation, no? Well, if you're not paying attention, basically, yeah, YG won game one. But Rhino Day is here. New interactive effects. Grab those emotes, spam them to show your support, whether it's YG, whether it's Pro Esports, whether it's MSC in general. I love MLBB being so proactive about supporting the esport. That's a great thing to see. Mirko, back to you.
So, again, for Pro, it's just understanding your identity, playing with it, right? You don't win championships by playing something that is completely out of your own, comfort zone.
Yeah.
You still have to stick to your own comfort, and the comfort for them is clearly assassins, man. They cannot play that front to back composition. They need Coily on a carry. They need, hey, I love you too, man. Thank you so much. God. All right, but yeah, play that aggressive game, control the tempo, dictate it, go crazy.
Yeah, you get I love Mirko.
Where's the Radiant sign?
I get who's Renmar signs.
No, bro. Everybody loves Renmar.
Yeah, sure.
I don't even want to say the sign I get. You probably you probably don't want to see the sign I'm getting. Mark can't stop laughing. Even FaceTiming the homies to be on camera.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's a true homie right there.
I love it. Ban the Dark Triad.
Freya, Ling.
Atlas Ling. What's the other one? Fanny? I'm guessing it's Fanny.
Ixia? It was something Ixia.
It was Ixia.
I like that. Hey, I think you just gave our writers a new idea. Whoever made that Dark Triad sign,
Dark Triad.
Thanks for the idea.
Okay, do a MobaZone pick. I hope these have been approved. They have been. Saber. Okay, pick Saber. I love this. I mean, we do know that basically the assassin jungle is so important, and they committed to the ban out. They saw the Ling and the Fanny. They said, well, we'll ban the Harara. Let's go away from it. But you've been mentioning they can't do that again today.
Yep.
In game 2 and beyond. So now you're going to see a completely different approach. YG is still going to ban the Ling.
Yep.
But they're not participating, it looks like, on the side of Pro Esports.
And this is where it'll be confusing for Pro Esports, right? Because I know exactly what Yangon Galacticos are doing now. They're banning out the Ling, they're banning out the Marcel. I think the Fanny will come next, and they're going to leave it open now. You want to go Hirara or Freya?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think YG will walk away with the winning trade.
Yeah. They're really centering on the EXP Freya trade.
There you go, right? This is the Fanny ban, and then Pro are just going to be forced into either Hirara or Freya. I don't think you want to let go of the Freya.
Yeah. No. But then I think it's also a tough call for Pro because they know that the Esmeralda is going to be coming through. Oh, they banned it out.
The Fanny. Oh, that's what they want. Okay, wow, Yangon.
Wow.
All right, so we saw Yangon play a little bit more into the utility. Let's see if they're going to whip out the Assassin through the Fanny, or maybe even the Nolan. Who knows?
They go straight up Eudora, Belleric, and then Fanny Red 3 here, no?
Yeah, Eudora will be good, Belleric will be good. I think I want to see them consider... I was about to say Selena, but all right, Eudora's not bad too.
Oh.
Barrett's early on.
2-0 on Barrett so far. YG have played him twice. They've won twice with him.
Yeah. I love the development of the meta, man. Barat's early, especially in this situation, just creates so much confusion for Pro because they themselves banned out the Uranus. It looked like they wanted to get their hands on the Barats. But even if Pro go for an Esmeralda, something of a counter against the Barat, this is still a flex pick knowing Yangon Galacticos. They can put it into the hands of Han. So now as Pro, you don't know what to go.
Right. Yeah. I think if I'm Pro, I'm looking at what could you pair up with the Barretts and the Matilda. Does Yangon really want to play Matilda Roam and then Eudora mid? If Pro's idea to that is the answer is no, then expect that this Barretts is going EXP.
A safe choice for Pro right now. Oh, I was going to say, the safe choice would be a Lilia to have a way to deal with the Barats anywhere it goes. But they instead go for the Selena and the Belleric. This should be where the Fanny comes around, right? There's not a lot of crazy lockdown. They can ban it out later, like the Moskov ban.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about something like a Badang showing up. The only thing that Pro Esports could come in through a surprise is if that Barretts is going EXP. One very old answer to that is to rock a Cho in the EXP so that you get that pick off up against that Fanny. But let's see if Pro remembers that and if that can actually translate to the current metagame today. If this is Fanny, Pro Esports are going to be scrambling to look for options. But no, they don't want to show it yet.
The benefit is they just don't show their cards.
There's still so much flex, man.
It's all flex except the Eudora.
Yeah, except the Eudora.
Wow.
Oh, Pro is probably scratching their heads right now of where to go because they can't pick up the Vexana anymore. They already showed the Selena. Yangon is on something else.
I mean, from an EXP perspective, they played Barats, like I said. They played Uranus there. They played Ruby, another character that's come up and flexed both gold and EXP. They've tried the double fighter.
And Ying can play the glue in XP too. Ooh. This glue could be roll, it could be XP. This Barats could be XP, could be jungle. I don't think we can say it's going to go gold, huh? That's out of the equation. But they ban out the Fanny, so Pro respecting that. Knowing Yangon Galacticos, though, again, there's still that possible Nolan that's a good pick against the Hirara as well.
And it'll be good. You have a very strong EXP in the Barrett. You have a very annoying Roam in the glue. They ban out the Fanny and Harley. If ever they do want to lean towards playing the Assassin, this Nolan will be fine.
Just go for the gold lane, reveal your cards there, leave the Barats as a question mark for Pro to deal with all the way to the end right now. So safe gold laner, I'd say just take away the Moskov, right? Especially because you have a glue, but they go Claude again.
They're brave with it. I think maybe that's a little bit more of I want to say it's ego, but Sanji's feeling it. He's feeling it.
I mean, he did have like a pretty good game in game one. I just said pretty good. I don't want to compliment him too much. Remember,
I mean, they've won twice, and now this could be the third time, so nothing has gone wrong when they pick the Claude. So I think a comfort pick. It's available. They ban out the Harith, which is the only other highly prioritized gold laner.
There you go.
Yeah, Pro ends up with the Moskov again. Sanji handled the duel against the Moskov, but let's see if maybe a quick little adjustment by Kozin is enough. I wonder if they have room to put this Belleric in the EXP instead and then pick for a different Roam pick, but no matter the permutation that you think about, Yangon is going to walk away with a great advantage. Bring back an old favorite, Lapu Lapu in the EXP.
You got to be really smart with that Lapu Lapu, man. That CC Immune's going to have to come clutch before the Detonus welcome, before the big chomp. There you go. So last, what was that? Baksha, it is Baksha. All right. YG, last pick. Is the Barats going to go into the jungle? Do they pick up the Nolan here and try to bully the Hirara?
Yeah, this is a fast-clearing jungler. This Hirara is not going to have a good time. The lack of AoE also from Pro. Yes, I know they have the ultimate of the Belleric and technically AoE from the Lapu Lapu, but a lot of their damage comes in single targets unless Yangon all decide to line up in 5v5s up against a Moskov, which I don't think they're going to do.
Knowing YG, I want Ying on a carry. I want Ying on a damage dealer. Oh, what?
They run it back with the Suyo.
Wait.
Isn't that kind of...
this one, guys, is it?
It's kind of weird.
That is weird.
Fit your fancy for YG.
I love the draft. The Suyo, though, this is a snowball-dependent pick now in the meta. It's not really something that you can... Back then, it was guaranteed snowball. Now, those nerfs to second skill will hurt him quite a bit in the farming department as well.
Sorry, I'm Felix on the Lapu Lapu. We're going to see the Han matchup against the Hirara with the Suyo. Wow, this is going to be interesting right here.
Very interesting decisions indeed. This could be a messy start for both. And as always, with every Barrett's pick, that's the X factor.
All right, well, Naisu Leo, let us know what you think about this draft. It's game 2. Pro Esports hoping it goes a little longer than 11 minutes.
They definitely want a longer game here if you're Pro Esports. Now, Yangon Galacticos, they brought out a draft that, I have to agree with, looks deadly. Then that Suyo comes back here, Leo. We haven't seen it too much. It kind of fell off a little bit after the nerfs, but maybe this is one of those cases where, you know what, the Hirara's got all this mobility. Let me just be this Suyo and try to match him.
Nice, so it's not just the fact that it's the Hirara on the other side, it's the fact that Pro Esports are now playing with a more proactive lineup. I agree with Mirko, I agree with Renmar. Even Rainday knows that there's something up with this weird Suyo from out of nowhere.
Yeah, could definitely struggle, but it's one of those cases where, if anything, Yangon Galacticos has really showed us that they're really good at just playing as a team. You know, playing team-centric across the map is what has worked so well for them. And yeah, even if we look at the emblems here, you know, it's not too much that we have to worry about on the side of Yangon Galacticos, because if Sanji has a similar game to what he had just previously, your Claude's going to scale up much quicker, you're much more deadly to that. And we all know this. These, whoa. Look at this Eudora. This is what I was going to talk about.
Early revitalized, fourth out of PvP. One more hit and Kaiser draws first. The flickering by Kaiser. Double kill from Eudora, striking like lightning.
I don't even have to finish what I was going to say, because I was going to talk about the Eudora, man, and how good she's been in this tournament for MSC, but just in the meta in so far, the past couple weeks even. And you see that, a double kill early on as we look at the replay brought to us by STC. Look at the damage you can do this early on. This is why we say it's kind of busted, man. I mean, and then the flicker forward to capitalize on the double. That's dirty.
You know, it was compounding effort. Oh, real quick, up top near the orange. Hard full, Seth finds him, the trade. Coily goes down. Ying gets it. Oh, throwing it out into the wall. One more. And there goes another. PPP. Double kill for Ying. Sa falls another time. Yangon are calling all the shots despite losing the retribution holder.
Oh, man, it just got way worse here for Pro Esports. I'm so surprised they continue to hone in, double down on this. Sorry on Felix. He's just, there's nothing he can do here.
No, sir. That's the first turtle going to Yangon.
Okay, so our whole concern with the Suyeo isn't even the first point to worry about now for Pro Esports. It's just this. It's Kaze just getting another kill off cam. 4-0-2 under 3 minutes.
Kaze the killer. He is chasing Coily and Kozin's kill records from the groups.
He's taking him to the Thunderdome, man. I mean, there's something that you have to be concerned about. And it's just right now, it's all this Eudora in the hands of Kaze, because what is happening is her damage profile is already really great early on, especially when she hits level 2. You get one item, and you can almost, at this point, with this kind of lead, you can basically just one-shot someone with that combo. Hell, even if you get 2, you're even more of a threat.
Nice mount here, coming in. Han, dealing a lot of damage. Ying scores another. Denton is welcome. Will he spin now? There was no one left to bite.
Yeah, it's... Again, Pro Esports, this might be another quick one. Coily forced to just kind of deal with this pressure on this side of the map. You've got tanky enough heroes, too, for YG to go ahead and deal with between Ying and Blink. You know, Blink, synergistically, between the glue and also Kaze and the Eudora, it just, that's enough burst as well. And you can't really escape from that because you're either getting stunned or you're getting dragged back. Just like what we saw, the interaction in the previous game when you had that Jushin. Sanji goes back with the BMI, he's going to be safe, but this is the hard part here, Leo, is for Pro Esports. Where is that opening? Where is that opportunity then for them to actually get something here? Because originally we thought it would be these arrows with the Selena, maybe the Belric play.
I'd say it's off of a perfect arrow, which Sa hasn't yet found.
Yeah.
The best chances would have been before the turtle or during those early skirmishes, but I don't know, something about Sa and Yangon Galacticos being so far up front throws off the accuracy.
And you know what the problem is? Even if you land an arrow in your Sa and it's not Kaze, you're going to get stunned and bursted down anyway. So you have to be able to land it on the right target. And right now, that's Kaze. And he's playing so well protected around the team here. Second turtle up. They're going to fight for it.
Throws it out. Han secures with the retribution. There you go, taking route. There's PPP. Kaze, very low, but takes out Coily first. Kaze still alive. Han fights PPP. Coily goes down, and now there's a trade. Finally, Pro on the board. 2 for 3. But the turtle still goes over to the Burmese.
Again, they got Kaze. They shut him down, but at what cost? You know, at this point, Yangon Galacticos is happy to go ahead and just take what they want. Objective. Now they're going to take some tier 1 turret in the mid. They get a Sky Piercer on Han. They build up forward more momentum in this game. You know, all this happening and a 4,000 gold lead at the 5-minute mark. Sanji and Blink and the rest of the team are here. Kaze, so deadly with a dangerous grass as well.
Coily, looking to take down Blink. Takes a few Glulings out on the way. 5.5 minutes in, Joseph, gotta say. Sanji's been getting the gold lane experience once again.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. You can see that too, man. 1,000 gold ahead right now in that gold lane matchup. You know, he's just able to go ahead and hold his own, but just rely on the rest of the team to be here. He's so aggressive with it too against Kozin. He knows Kozin needs some more time to build up on that Moskov, and right now he'll be playing that long lane, playing off the side of the map when it is objective time. But at least this next turtle is going to be towards that side, so we'll see how both gold laners decide to play around it. But you can just see the clear lead right now that Sanji has as he looks to take down that tier 1 turret. They might just go for a swap here, give up this turret over to YG as they scale in forward.
With 30 seconds before the turtle spawns, I feel like there's just too much on Sa's shoulders. Sa is trying to plant snares. Sa is trying to throw out lethal arrows on the right target, mind you. It seems to be Blink right now, but even with all these ults thrown out, Blink might survive. SOD sidesteps in, buys a little more time, but PPP punches him into the ground. A little bit of a kill, some respite for Pro.
Yeah, a bit of a baby step in the right direction that Pro Esports needs. Again, they need to slowly build up here in their own favor, and you know, at some point, you just got to get what you can take.
Oh, Han is 2 levels up on Coily. Despite the man advantage for Pro, the retribution count is just so much higher. Look, Yangon will secure this easy peasy.
Yeah, even without Blink, you know, there's just too much of a threat right now for YG's lineup. And like you said, I think, you know, this is the big part. It's so much responsibility for Sa to land these arrows. You know, usually when we see these Selenas picked up so far throughout MSC, yeah, you're able to play around the arrows, you know, you're able to go ahead and follow through, but that's if you're not down so much in the early game. And so now, your arrows, even if you land them, you don't essentially have this free reign to just go follow up, get that kill, have the team make it, because it's all just a risk up to this point. Still holding up almost 3 levels now against Coily here. This tier 2 being threatened on the bottom side. Oh, both junglers up on this top side too. We might actually have 2 fights break out.
Oh, it's not just 2 junglers, it's Ying as well. Iframes on Coily dashing through the wall, but Han pursues Sever to take him down. Coily bites it.
And this is why it sort of made sense that the Suyo came through with the Hirara on the other side. At least in some way or another, you have some mobility options yourself to catch up after those iframes and Hirara's dashing around herself.
I mean, one might argue if Hirara has 4 skills.
Yeah.
1,
he's got 6.
3, 4. He's got 6. Yeah. So the math just counts for Yangon either way, especially since Pro are down so much. And now, as you can see, Kaise has taken a little bit of a back foot. Now maybe 2nd or 3rd prio when it comes to damage output. But the map has turned red, and when it's this down bad, the Selena has so much more to deal with, and PPP can only do so much. It's an honest tree, dude.
Yeah.
PPP can't threaten as much of a purified pop from Sanji as he used to in game 1.
There's none of that flicker combination, you know, that we usually see with Belrix, for example. You need the Revitalize here, though, too, because if you do break out into a team fight and they try to follow through, eventually, if they can extend it, they'll have some of that magic resist to build up, especially on that front line, to help extend, because there is some potential there. Just like we saw in the one previous fight with the Turtle, where Sarion Felix can burn a flicker, just find Kaise and take out that option.
Tetna's welcome. Throw it into the wall. Now the dash and the sever, putting BBB down. Han scores. Skypiercer stack. Yes, please. Sarion Felix brings Spider back. Not enough damage reduction as Han gets a double. Another stack. And now the Lord up next. Yangon Galacticos puts a black and purple jersey on it.
Man, stacks on stacks right now for the Suyo. Despite his changes that he's gone through, you're still reminded why he was such a threat before. Look at this. Again, lines up the Queller. Just a cool guy. You know, shoots, goes back to the Lord. Here's someone else low. I have a Skypiercer. Let me go grab that double. And just goes back to secure the objective. And this is the problem. This team fighting, as he's chasing. Oh!
As if talking about it in the instant replay wasn't enough, Han does it again.
5-1-5.
The penultimate hero of the M6 World Championships are back. 10K almost up, Joseph. 9,500 gold for Yangon Galacticos. They're about to pop so many holy shields, and the Lord isn't even halfway through the river.
Man, it feels like the 2 days that we had between groups and now knockouts has taken us back 2 months, you know, in terms of the meta.
2 years with Suyo.
2 years even, yeah, in some cases, because Suyo popping off this way, again, it takes the team to make it happen. Oh, again, a Queller, Soul Sever, enough to bring Sarion Felix to half, but now they got to deal with this Lord. That's your front line.
Gonna crash in. Holy Shield already popped. Yangon Galacticos can force the issue here. They choose to take the disciplined route.
Welcome.
No, he can just cancel this. He's fine.
Just throwing some dirt in the back there. Okay, they defend against the Lord. They lose a bit of that health on the turret, though, but all the shields pretty much nearly dealt with here. Let's take a quick look at the items. You can see the disparity across the roles here. You know, at most, the closest that you have is between the XP laners, but, you know, for Ying, he has one job, and that's just use that Daytona's welcome, tank up a bunch of damage. He's already got great coverage. You know, Radiant Armor for that magic, Chastised Pauldron, plus the Antique Caress here. He's as tanky as he pretty much needs to be to set things up around that ultimate.
Not to mention Blink, who's just about to get his flicker back.
Yep.
He can go ahead and mount, easily break through the formation, and then scramble Pro Esports. Not to mention how much gold he's making. He's making bank, Joseph. He's eating good bread. Already able to be built the Cursed Helm. That stacks with Eudora's Superconductor.
Yeah, there's this, you know, those things add up. Shred through some of that magic resistance that's trying to be built up even by Pro Esports.
And that's just 2 of them. That's just Eudora and the glue.
Yeah. Again, Ying tanking it up.
Oh, flicker! Dennis Welcome throws it into PPP as he's forced to take root, and Han serves up another, gets another stack, and in comes one more as Sa falls. Might be another blink down to about a 10th of his HP. Sanji finds him underneath the base, but Coily finally finds one. His first kill in this 11.5-minute game.
Stayed a little too long, but did the damage anyway. 3 down for Pro Esports, facing down 4 members of Yangon Galacticos. They don't have their gold laner, but they will still be able to take this mid-base turret down.
Oh my, look at the veterancy, the wisdom of Yangon Galacticos. They could have forced it. Any other team who's this close to victory would have forced it, but nope, they saw the Lord. We'll take it slow, 10k up. Let's just go for the sure win.
Yeah, they have to go ahead and delay this. They don't want to whiff here. If they actually started this Lord too much without Sanji being up, now that he's alive, they don't want the potential for Pro Esports to go ahead and steal the Lord from them. So they hold it on. It looks like, despite it all, 10,000 gold deficit. Pro Esports is centering around the Lord. This might be one of those cases where they just try to make a play happen here. Conceal going to be used by Blink.
Blink finds the back line, compromises Sa, forcing Soriam Felix back. Felix does oblige, tries to fight back. Sanji wailing away, gets knocked out by the Lord. Ying still holds on, and Dennis Welcome. Han secures the Lord, and there's one arrow thrown out. Not gonna be able to stop him, and they will take down PPP first. The trigger discipline on Ying doesn't force anything just yet.
Yep, Ying still has that ultimate available, so taking one down, P will be back up for this defense, but Lord's already secured here for YG. They've had complete control from the moment this game got underway.
Some respite, Joseph. A little bit of a silver lining for the Cambodian fans. Almost max stacks on Han. That's not it. What I'm trying to say is, Pro has come back from worse.
Yeah.
If you remember their clencher in the group stage, they have fought tooth and nail to take back that final moment to try and get into the knock. Wait, real quick, another Dennis Welcome from Ying. Coily goes down, blazing the wind in the face. Felix falls, 2 down. I'm not sure they can defend.
Oh, I'm not sure if they can, man. They still got a Lord to deal with here, and it's a fully stacked on 9-1 and 6.
Waves coming from all directions. PPP falls, Sanji takes him down. Lord underneath the base. Down goes Kozin, and just like that, Yangon Galacticos at match point.
Took a little bit longer, but still nonetheless the same result. Yangon Galacticos just dominated in game 2 like they did in game 1. And they're pulling heroes that we're not used to seeing, man, the past couple weeks, the past couple months, but it's all executed so well from Yangon Galacticos.
They've dismantled what Pro understood of the metagame.
Yeah.
Piece for piece, role for role, lane per lane. They seem to be thrown back to a place in the metagame that all of us thought was dead and gone. Utility junglers, Suyo in the jungle against what? Meta stars such as Hirara, Bellaric, and Selena.
Yeah. Again, one of the most impressive things about Yangon Galacticos and their trip here to qualify for MSC was just how adaptable, how versatile their draft was, the coaching staff behind them to go ahead and secure these kind of drafts that this executed this way, and the way that they play around each other makes it almost seem easy the way that they're doing it. But it's, again, one of their strengths and one of the difficult things when you're their opponent. How do you draft against that? Because even if you have some of these picks that you might not think come through, and it's executed in this manner, that's really difficult to play against.
I think our panel will dissect a little more from the minute to minute, because the early game went sideways. I think that was a big canon moment in this match.
Let's go ahead and throw it over to the panel to break down at game 2. This was another strong one.
Yangon Galacticos aren't just playing like the best team in this matchup, they're playing like the best team in the galaxy right now in MLBB. And I'll give you 3 C words to describe it: clean, concise, and unfortunately for Pro Esports, curt. These have not been long games. They have not been games that have been enjoyed by any Pro Esports fan. And it's because YG just looks so good.
They're simply better. Their understanding of the meta, their understanding of the draft, how they're playing together. They are more cohesive, everything. They're playing perfectly. Honestly, there's no way else to put it. They look way too good.
And it's not just the execution, it's the draft.
Yeah.
Marv's got a big pat on the back from all of us here on the panel, and obviously all the Yangon Galacticos fans, you know, all the Burmese people, just a crazy synchronized pat on the back. It's gonna hurt a lot for both those coaches, but wow, I'm just so surprised. Again, yes, there were some off-meta picks, but the way they build for the off-meta pick, for the Suyo as well, right? It was through these really smart placements of the picks and great choices as well. The Barats early after seeing the Uranus ban, flexing it all the way to the end. We saw the Glue also flex on Red 3. These are just like, it feels like for them, they weren't just 2 steps ahead of Pro. They were 7 for no reason, just that number ahead.
Yeah, just said it. I agree with you because that's the indication of a team that's planned and then plan the next move when you make a move based on how they just showed up.
Yeah.
And the Barats is a perfect example because that's a character, a hero that they've won every single game that they've played with. Now it's 5 times that YG have played Barats and won. So
30.
You do not want to let them through. But, you know, earlier on I mentioned Uranus. That's a character both teams vie for. Well, that was banned, but then ended up not being an impact there. So maybe, again, having to look at the draft for Pro Esports.
Yeah, it seems like just when they think that they've come up with an answer to something or an answer that's yet to show up for a question that's yet to be asked. As Mirko mentioned, Yangon already knows, like, no, we're already at that point. We're already at the second phase of the draft. Just when you started, it's rare to see Barracks get picked up this early on, but this might be something that other teams might look into now, considering that for 2 games, one of the most iconic EXP laners in Cambodia, in Soriam Felix, got 2 very aggressive picks. Got the Yuzhong, now got the Lapu Lapu. He hasn't made his presence felt enough here, and that's not his fault. Nope. That's because Yangon keep drafting lineups and heroes that effectively take Soriam Felix out of the fight.
Mirko, how would you draft against YG?
Right now, I mean, it's very, very difficult for me to draft against YG. I don't know how I would draft against YG, man. But for Pro, it should already have an answer. Not to this, but to adapt. It really just feels like for me, I mean, you get to see the expressions as well of Cat God, that they're stuck in the group stage. Yeah. They're still stuck in the group stage. They're still going for picks that are prio in the group stage, even picking up the Selena, the Belleric here after seeing the Eudora and the Barats early on. They really are stuck there. They're really stuck with the same picks and they didn't evolve. We saw the last 2 days. I mean, we had a break. Yeah. These teams should have been already kind of like trying to find the new answers. And I feel like YG, they paid attention a lot to that game of TLPH against Entity 7 and how Entity 7 were able to outdraft TLPH in game number 2 because the Barats flex was something I pointed out as well when I did my analysis on that matchup, right? The Barats was picked up red 4 by Entity 7 against TLPH. We saw the Uranus pick up then by Sanford and it just cooked them because it was flexed in. So here they utilized that idea, but all the way in the early game or all the way in the first phase after seeing the Uranus pan.
Yeah. And to add to that, they added the glue to it. So now that's even more layers of like, oh, who's going where?
And that combo is devastating. I think even for Pro, they were caught off guard because the Eudora's second skill, you get a little bit of magic defense shred. Yes. You add a roamer with magic damage, the glue, and my goodness gracious, you saw how much damage they dealt. That's why. That's the reason.
I mean, the other thing is Kaize early on. I mean, 4 kills from mid for Eudora. You cannot let that happen.
Yeah, that just really goes to show that the mid laner is reading the opposing team so well.
Yeah.
When a mid laner gets that much kills, I know it's a Eudora. I know how easy it could be to get kills into Eudora really quickly, especially once you get that first item. But with how he was moving in the map, the specific positions he was getting into the bush, the timings of it all really showed that he did his homework. It's like, I know he's here. I know he's gonna be here.
For me, it's also the response to it. You see the Eudora, you pick up the Selena, makes sense. But then together with the Belleric, it's just like, usually when you go for the Selena, you need that mid-prio. You need someone to actually help enable the Selena to rotate around the map to find these picks and arrows, right? Or to lay down traps. Just a very core fundamental of the Selena. You control the map by clearing out mid, and then you go also with the tempo to control the neutral objective. Now this game, I see a massive disconnect. Selena goes for the Season Hunter, right? We take a look at it again here. They go for the Lapu Lapu up top there, instead of something that can guarantee tempo. Again, it would have been bursted down, but something like an Esmeralda, right? The Uranus early that was banned out by them themselves as well, and no mid-prio. So what was the idea of the Selena at the end with the Season Hunter if you couldn't burst the neutral objectives or you can't even get to the neutral objectives first?
It's been 2 drafts in a row where they've drafted their EXP laner for Soriam Felix last. And that is maybe something they need to look at, Mirko, because there's an element to the draft, but as we'll have time to talk about that, before we go on a quick break, I want to just raise this question. Is this now an element of the mental? Because you've just lost another set. If we're in group stages, you've just lost again to YG. Now you got one more game, but it's like, geez, can we get over this hill?
Yeah, for teams that love momentum, that love to be the one setting the tempo, this is going to be a big mental hit. I don't doubt that the coaches are going to quickly get them back into shape. Again, I mean, they had to crawl to win the grand finals in MPL Cambodia Season 10 as well, but it will be difficult.
Yeah, they're gonna have to run. They can't just crawl back here. Yangon Galacticos, if you crawl in front of them, it does seem like they're just gonna stomp you down, bro.
Watch out there with that Barat's pick being let through. By the way, if you guys want to be a part of streaming this action, get your opinions in, you're listening to us, well, you can share them by joining the EWC Streaming Creator Program. You might be able to earn dope prizes. I know we've been seeing people stream on our side. Mirko's going live in the bus. We're having chats, and he's earning prizes. So make sure you scan that QR code and join. You might just be able to earn some cool gifts, but also get your voice said. Maybe make a clip. Be a part of this tournament where so many people are coming live and watching online. We appreciate you guys. On the backside of this, we will have game 3. It may be the final game of our first set of the day, or it could be the start of Pro Esports return. Either way, we want to let you know there's something cool coming in Acecraft. If you haven't played in a minute, there's co-op in a new mode called We Fly Together.
Mình nhún mới sanh ảo nè, bờn mình nhún để chụp copy ra vậy. Chụp bật khiêu mới sanh, để sai dân thử ca. POR Pro ไม่ได้ทำแบบ POR What is POR ไก่ตาเกมเมอร์ไว้ไงอันมันยูดไว้สิ
Whether it's a specific pick, there's always just one thing that's just throwing a wrench every time towards the plans that Pro Esports has that they just overlook.
And it's also just, man, you can't let those heroes go either. I mean, we can talk about, okay, maybe you should leave the Phoveus open. No,
you can't.
Maybe you can leave, what was the last ban for them? The Atlas open. It's like, no, I don't think so either. So at the end of the day, they're just going to have to deal with it through outplaying their opponents. So now I'd say focus on your own game, right? Instead of trying to go for just meta picks or trying to deny even YG's picks from game one, play your style of MLBB, all right? Build around what your strength is. And right now for me, it's Coily on Assassins and everybody else on winning matchups. So get that first.
Yeah, okay. So they were already able to tick the Coily on Assassin box earlier. So maybe does that mean you pick up your pick for Soriam Felix earlier? Because Rainday did point out earlier, that means that Soriam Felix was getting his picks, always picked last now for 2 games in a row.
Which is like not Lapu-Lapu, bro. I mean, you're seeing the Barats, you're seeing all those picks, right? I was thinking maybe you could go for something like an Alice as well. Early on, dealing with the glue as well. So there's so many answers. It's just don't panic. Don't overthink. Think of the easiest answer first, right?
Yeah.
Easy's better, bro.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Crowd control, damage. Obviously, they're building around a lot of different things. You can understand PP also going onto the Belleric because he's had such good games with them. But the way that their draft is complementing each other, there's something missing. YG have had every single time good laning phases and then good team fights that were threatening. The Herrera coming out early for Pro, but these bans,
pretty much the same.
They take away the Zushin though.
Oh yeah.
So they don't get counter with that in mid, with which set up the Guinevere and a lot of other things.
Yeah. They pick up the Herrera for themselves. We're in dangerous grass again. So it looks like Pro Esports are going to try and see if they could just remix to a much better ending for them. The draft from game number 2. Yangon still picking up the Eudora. And instead of going for the Belleric rush, which I feel like Yangon is thinking is the pick now that Pro Esports is looking into, they pick up instead of the Barracks rush, excuse me, they pick up the Belleric. And then now here comes Pro. They get their power picks onto Kozin. They get the Harith. He's played 5 games with it and has won 4. They pick up the Uranus, which again solves a lot of their problems. But the Esmeralda's still open. Yangon says, no, we're feeling it. We're picking up the Fanny.
It's just so all so good. Again, for Young Galacticos, they saw the Uranus ban in game number 2, right? The Uranus ban with the Phoveus and the Atlas. Then that's the reason they went for the Barat super early. Even if you countered it, it's going to be flex anyways, but even if you countered it, it won't be a crazy counter like the Uranus. This time around, they go Belleric, Eudora, the easy route. And then they see the Uranus on the other side. They don't bite on the Barats then. They just go for the Fanny because there's no lockdown heroes. Now they get rid of those heroes. The Cho, taken out already.
Yeah, with Pro Esports, they're slowly running out of options really to have answers for this Fanny unless they can swing out with a Badang in the roam. This seems like that might be their last best option for it.
They can still pull off something crazy like a Dairoth with a Fanny up top, the Uranus against the Dairoth, right? It's not something that I would, go for usually, but if they really just want to snowball and if they think they already kind of mentally destroyed their opponents from the last 2 games.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of CC and there's someone to capitalize on it right there. So you see the game plan. This, I feel that they're just getting the people who need to do well, from Kozin to Sariam Felix, to Han. I mean, I feel like to counter this assassin matchup, you do need something strong, and Coily needs that Herrera. So at this point, do you feel that this is a better draft, at least a better attempt?
For Pro Esports? Yeah, for sure. I mean, we asked for them to get their Soriam Felix hero much earlier. They get Coily an Assassin. They get the power pick into Kozin's hand. Now they can just adjust for row mid. I feel like the previous drafts, they were looking at row mid way too early and then now decided, okay, let's switch it up. Let's get side lane prio and then we adjust our row mid later.
I like that Selena band too, right? This time they have the prio on Uranus. Tempo advantage for sure and XP guaranteed. So it could work as long as they get, again, tempo in mid with the Hirara.
Yeah. Don't you think Pro might need to ban out an Alice here?
They might. Yeah. I think it's a very, very good combination. It's someone that can actually deal with the Uranus as well.
That Alice gets let through.
We've seen the Ruby picked up, also from YG.
Ooh, they get gold lane bans instead. So they really want to get a better matchup at gold.
Yeah, again, they're just trying to win those matchups. Hirara pick and then winning those matchups individually. So I like the approach from Pro already. Much better than game 1, game 2, but yeah, I completely forgot about that pick. My favorite pick as well. Melissa. Oh, God.
And it's tough because if you go for something like Vexana, you're just going to get eaten up. Now they're forced to play the Valentina, but you have no more reach. You go for the Madang as expected, but they cannot reach this Melissa.
No, they cannot.
So that could be a win condition there. YG
Alice.
again.
Yeah.
Just close it out with an Alice, or maybe even a Glue. Not really. No, I'd prefer the Alice.
They're feeling feisty. The Sora, technically, there's already the Valentina, but it's going to be mid, right?
Yeah.
Final pick from YG.
I wonder if YG are already thinking that they've won this and they're taking their sweet time with the last pick.
I think so. I think they're trying to find the pick to go and, you know, put the nail in the coffin.
They found it. They
What is
found it.
Ruby.
It's the
You
Ruby.
called it.
You called it. Good. Great call, Rain Day. Okay. The anti-dash, the pull, they have the combo. A lot of stopping power for the Melissa. This is all in the Melissa. But again, they still have the Eudora. They could easily snowball early on. The Fanny. Theoretically, this looks perfect for Yangon, but if any major slip-ups happen early, then Pro has a chance, which is tough because you're begging your opponents to make a mistake.
Drafts have gotten better each game for Pro Esports, but it doesn't have one more game to go. If you don't get the job done here, you're going home. Your key is crushed at MSC. It's time for YG to either move on into the semifinals or Pro Esports is going to push us to another game in this best of 5. Let's send it back over to Naisu and Leo to kick us off.
Here we go. It's got to happen here for Pro Esports. Yangon Galacticos back-to-back dominant games, but will this draft work this time to get us to another game and get Pro Esports one step closer to moving forward? Or will the key get crushed after this one? Yangon Galacticos, Leo, has been so good, so on point. This draft, though, I wouldn't say is as, let's say, guaranteed as the last 2 games.
There's a lot that they're trying here, especially when they threw the Ruby into Ying's hands.
Yep.
Blink bullying a PPP out of the mid prio. If there is something I might say is Pro, especially at this precipice, at this pivot point in this match, they're putting it all on Coily and Kozin. They put the comfort picks, the Hirara and the Harith on these 2 players, these imports from the Philippines, to try and turn it around. Stroke of genius what they did though, especially with picking the Valentina in mid.
Yeah.
Kind of blocked out Ying Sora.
Yeah, that dealt with it. But I still think that even Ying picking up the Ruby here, you know, it serves the purpose of you just have this crazy amount of crowd control that it can help you catch the Hirara if you need to. It can help you catch Kozin if you need to.
Reliable damage too.
Yep, damage. But also is a way to pop a Purify for Kozin. And you got to remember too, Kozin, this is a signature comfort pick for him. If I remember correctly, this is, I think it's Kozin on the Harith that has the most kills in one game.
Him or Coily. Now they're putting so much pressure. Sorry, I'm Felix. Han draws first blood.
Oh, that's tough, man. Again, you do not want to let these early kills, these early first bloods go in the hands of the likes of Han on a Fanny, mind you. You know, to go ahead and just snowball much quicker. And every time a Fanny's in play, you know that you want to go ahead and just kind of put some pressure on that jungle, especially the purple buff, try to stall her out a little bit, but you get this kind of lead, could be really bad. But first turtle that comes up, they've got the space to work with. Ying's got the level 4. Kaise's still trying to go ahead and cap it out here just because, again, once he gets that ultimate, that combo is so deadly.
And he will. Yangon Galacticos are in such a dominant position for this first turtle. Blink flushes PPP out of that pixel brush. Sa has the Wrath of the Dryads, but I don't think that's the best ult to have right now, especially when you're a soft little Valentina at the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, you don't want to just put yourself in that position, but they'll really take it slow here. Bit of a reset. Han goes back to base, wants to get his purple buff. So maybe they just trade it out. Maybe they decide they don't want to. Really good decision here, though, from Pro Esports to just see that window of opportunity, take it. At least it's something for them. So again, turtle in the hands of Pro Esports. They'll kind of just recalibrate, slow things down a bit. Even with this, again, knowing that you have a Harith in the hands of Kozin, you need to go ahead and allow him to stay alive, build up on there. Melissa's too. You know, there's a reason now we've seen her pop up a couple times throughout the past group stage days, and she can be pretty deadly when she hits that power spike.
Impressive, staying the hand for Yangon Galacticos, but Pro Esports knew what Yangon was doing, and they got in there and got the advantage, which is good, because again, oh my lord, sorry Felix, popping that consecration last second. They're waiting for Kozin's mid-game power spike.
Yeah, it's interesting though that there's so much attention up there. You would think, you know, on the Uranus up there in the XP lane for Sarion Felix.
Whoa, 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 Kaiser. Coming in, but PPP stops the exit. Now here comes the Wrath of the Dryad as PPP gets taken down. Han and Blink walk away.
Okay, a trade. Oh wait, there's still putting potential up there.
Han walks to the wall. Ying to the rescue. Coily, Retribution. That's a steal on a small camp.
All right, that's what Coily needed to do. You can see he's slowly building up a bit of a XP lead also against Han. Even though Han had those early kills, it's just some of his tank's been taken away from him. They've really done a good job. Pro Esports has done a great job of just kind of choosing their fights and slowing down a bit. They're able to catch out Kaise again. This is one of the great things about having that Bedang in the roam in the hands of P. He can actually just kind of take them for a surprise, whether he uses a flicker or not, to set things up for a potential kill. You just have to be able to go ahead and survive once Blink literally comes forward and Wrath the Dryads, like we just saw. And, you know, that's why also when you look at what Sa has been taking, he's got his own, right? I'm not sure if he's really going to change anything other than just having the Wrath of the Dryad for him.
It sounds like the perfect Rochambeau, because right in the middle is Sa, who is relying on what ult he gets. Right now, 2v1, Surya Felix! Pops the Consecration one more time underneath the turret. Not going to be safe here as 3 of them go for it. They had to send Kaiser up too, but this opens up another turtle for Pro.
Pro's willing to trade, man. You know, if it's Sarion Felix going down, I don't think that's too bad for Pro Esports.
No.
Right? He's just the Uranus. He's going to go ahead and deal with some pressure. As long as his team is trading something for it somewhere else, which happens to be now the second turtle, then that's all good.
Hey, you want to make some omelets? You've got to crack some eggs.
Got to crack some eggs.
And in this situation, Sarion Felix is the egg.
That's a big egg, man. But
hard to open.
He eventually, though, too, even though he's died a couple times, he'll be tanky enough to be that front line for this team, for sure.
Buying time now inside the left side bush. Ying gets found out. Coily traded out for. Make that a 2-for-1 as Han finds a double. P falls as well. I don't even know who really started that fight, but at the end of the day, I think Pro have lost the lead that they've built up over the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think they both just saw each other and like, you know what, let's fight. Because that's exactly what they did. Let's take a look at the replay. Again, this is all, they're all centered around here. You can just see that double basically Wrath of Dryads being set up. But the problem is because you're fighting that little choke point and you've got the walls to work with, Han kind of gets that upper hand where he can just kind of cable back and forth.
Like Spider-Man.
Hey, go see it while you can.
Han picks up the Malefic Roar now. A lot of damage coming through, so it's not Sanji time just yet.
Yeah.
Nor is Kaise going as hard as he was in game number 2. So we're expecting Han to be the real punisher this early on. Especially since Pro has lost that, you know, big 1,000 gold lead they had 5-minute mark. Oh, big wall put up. Blink gets caught. He answers with a Wrath of the Dryad. Han comes in! Cutthroat finds B! Serves up a kill to Kaise.
Okay, flicker burn from Kaise. Again, really good counterpunch there from YG. Pro Esports has to choose these fights a little bit better, but they can start to go ahead and rely on this. Oh, Kozin.
Uh-oh. He drops that Salmon Force.
Oh, the cable.
Han, maybe one more enhanced basic attack would have taken down the Fanny midair.
They pop Purify from Kozin. Kozin is going to be that guy for Pro Esports once he scales into this Harith. This third turtle, though, being worked on by Yangon Galacticos. Most likely will go in their hands unless a Conceal's already used. They're going to fight for it.
Drop in muddles, Ying skewers. There's the Wrath of the Dryad coming down. And the lineup on Pro Esports are compromised, but Young Galacticos lost a little too much health. It's Pro's gonna be making themselves scarce for now.
Yep, turtle secure though by YG. So they fought for it. There was an attempt there from Pro. Pro's still in a good position though, even though they lose that turtle. It looks like they had a hard time with that team fight, but they're still in a really good position to go into that first Lord. That's really where it's going to matter. You can also see gold lane, right? There's a bit of an advantage for Kozin. He had a really good time in the laning phase, has about a 700 gold lead. He's already got the Starlium Scythe worked in, and that's why, you know, imagine one item locked in for that Harith. You're already seeing the damage potential that he can have in these fights.
And he's on his way to the feather. There you go. So even more, that little moment here in that mid lane, even with that Purify pop, again, he already has that passive resilience coming in, about 30% less he'll take from, you know, the little stuns on Ying or Wrath of the Dryads. This is that mid-game power spike we're looking for coming in from Pro.
And Sa has been pretty good with the Wrath of the Dryad usage. That's one of the things here. Sorry, I'm Felix, man. They're going for the eggs again.
Yep, this is what he's meant to do. Pops that Purify, Consecration as well, buys maybe 2 seconds, but will not stop Yangon from pushing this tier 1 down bottom. But it's not like Coily hasn't been doing work as well. Look at that chubby wave he sent up. And now Sanji gets found out. Why would you take that weird exit?
I'm not sure. Really good choice there from Pro. Yeah, they lost Sari and Felix again for the 3rd time, but they were able to capitalize a kill on the gold laner of YG, but they also put some pressure on some of these turrets. They want to start to open up the map a little bit here, just because, again, that Lord's coming up in about 15. You need some space to work with. And some of these off angles is what they can really hone in on and highlight here. Again, having that Bedang, having San Valentina with the Wrath of the Dryad, with the Flicker available, there's some surprise setups that Pro Esports can play around. So now that Lord is up, we'll see who decides to get in range for this. Coily been very elusive so far in the Harara, able to kind of just utilize these extra brushes across the map, the mobility obviously that comes with it, and then that scalability here built in. So Sari and Felix needed that Radiant Armor. He's got it locked in now. So again, despite all the pressure he's dealt with, his one job is pretty much to be that front line, that bulwark. So it gives P that option too to go in with this Bedang to set things up. So very slow in this Lord take. I don't expect anyone to take it just yet, as both teams still look to find some opening, some real estate across the map.
Well, I'll be damned. In late July 2026, a dance has been begun, but no, they pick PP off first. And now Coily looking for more. Han picks up Kozin. That's 2 men down from Pro. This is a non-starter. The Cambodian squad has to back off. Suddenly, Yangon Galacticos have all but secured themselves a Lord. Sari and Felix looking to come in from the flank. Coily takes a few hits from Sanji. Lord here at a 16th of its health within Retribution range. Han, all he has to do is Retribution now. Yangon Galacticos takes the Lord.
Wow, again, Yangon Galacticos showing their fighting prowess here in these team fights. I was thinking they'd slow it down enough, but again, when you have a Ruby and Ying can just say, you know what, let's go. And he makes it happen again, going in with an I'm offended. Even if it's a tankier member for Pro Esports, they don't care. It's a pull, they can crash down, get a numbers advantage, and that's what happened there in that team fight. So now, Lord in their favor, Yangon Galacticos looking to take down some tier 2s.
Despite all we've been saying about Kozin's mid-game power spike, or Coily getting in there, dealing damage, he still doesn't have any stacks on his Sky Piercer.
Yep.
If anything, P is the most important utility in Pro's team fighting kit. He needs to catch someone. At best, if it's Han, if he can compromise Sanji, but that's how they start fights. No way other can they start anything.
And I think that's why that Melissa pick was really good too. You know, you get that ultimate, that go away from me. You're able to kind of buy some space with it. Good dodge there. Not getting pulled from Ying's I'm offended. But the Lord is still here. So now they've got to respond to this. They are just most likely, I don't expect them to approach the base yet, because Yangon Galacticos is still really respecting what Pro Esports' lineup can do. So at most, they take down some tier 2s.
He comes in, finds it, does force Han to back up, but he will fall now. One more for Han. And I think P is getting a little impatient. I'm not so sure how well they coordinated that whole ambush.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like they were ready to follow through on that. And now, again, this Bedang, it serves a purpose. There's a reason why it's there. Oh no, tier 2.
Coily! iframe to survive, but in comes Blink. Flicker after the Dryad fights too. Stop falls as well. And now it's all falling apart. 3 members down for the count. But YG has no wave, so Pro can thank their lucky stars. Felix so close.
So close, but again, this is about all Yangon Galacticos can take off of that push. We'll take down, open up the map, take down the tier 2 turrets. But you're seeing just how much of a struggle it is for Pro Esports even to find an advantage when it comes to a team fight. It's so crucial. Oh, whoa.
Kozin! Drops the Zaman Force, gets a few shields.
Zaman Force down, though.
Pushing Han back, yes. This is what, a good 20 seconds before Kozin can punish anyone from pushing too deep, but they've already lost their top lane inhibitor. Permanent damage onto the base. Blink with a rather dried on himself. Sanji wailing away. P! He's gonna fall once more. He does get the wall up, but where's the damage? There's the Zaman Force. Kozin looking to deal a lot of damage. Han might get compromised here. Down on 10th of his health. Kozin doing his darkness, and Coily finds a shutdown. Pro loses just one.
I didn't expect the fight to break out there, but Pro Esports decided to go for it anyway. They thought they were able to catch Blink, but instead there was a counter punch from YG. although they didn't lose too much, some battle spells were expended on both sides.
That's about as fruitful as it can get for Pro right now.
Yeah.
That turret was going to fall either ways. The fact that they can get a trade out, especially for a roamer in exchange for the mid laner, that's a good deal. That'll help at least stop the bleeding.
Yeah, it's not bad. But again, the Purify is down currently for Kozin. You know, he's got, like we said, he's got the items he needs. You can already see that damage potential, but it's more so being able to survive a fight. Almost all the fights we've seen so far, it's just been a numbers advantage for Yangon Galacticos, because usually it's PP just going down very quickly when he tries to set things up.
Whoa, there's the stolen ult, already spent up, but now Kozin dashing around.
Kozin?
He's in the right position. Down goes Zeke, but underneath the Lord, Sanji throws out a needle, takes him down. Now Sorium Felix bites it as well. 2 for 1 the trade. And this all but spells another sure Lord for Yangon Galacticos.
Oh, again, Pro Esports, just the team fighting is not it right now throughout this series. Even Kozin taking a big shot from the Lord there. You know, he didn't have much room to work with, but he's still got to get up in time for this defense if he can. 10 seconds left on his timer. Mid-turret will go down. They've got some time to walk down this last wave, this bottom wave, to potentially take out the last base turret. So YG will go for a reset. They'll march this one in, walk it down. Sorium Felix will be back up. They've got nearly all the battle spells that they need here. But same thing for the other side for YG. P doesn't have a flicker, and you know, with the Badang, that's one of the main things that he needs to kind of set things up. So far, just all these setups, man, have not worked.
Okay, fortunately, they are in dangerous grass, so he can find these odd angles. All right, he will be put down about half health. Lord already inside the base.
You have to deal with that Lord.
Pro Esports has to do this very, very carefully. Lord down about half. Kozin still has a Purify. They drop all the damage. Down goes another base up next. Kozin doing his darndest to clear the waves and deal a lot of damage.
They clear the Lord.
And they do clear the Lord, but there's still a wave coming in through mid. And just like that, Yangon Galacticos remain undefeated. Vicious win, a sweep in the quarters.
Yangon Galacticos was not joking around throughout this series. Maybe in game 3 took him a little bit longer, but it just repeats itself time after time after time. 3 dominant games against Pro Esports here. Again, taking even drafts that we're not used to seeing just a couple days ago. Shades of it. Things that worked, things that didn't, they readjusted, refined. And I'll tell you what, Yangon Galacticos looks like a big threat moving forward.
In every single game, they've managed to dissect Pro Esports' play, denying Coily and Kozin that bloodthirsty play style. They have thrown us back to the heyday of utility jungles. I was gonna say mid-game here, I can't believe it. We were Lord dancing again.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that Lord dance. We've seen a bit of it here and there, but
Okay,
maybe
dừng
that's
chặn kia đó đi.
you know, a premonition for what we're gonna see here in the knockouts. You know, and they knew the weak points of the lineup that Pro Esports brought to Game 3. They really honed in on it. At the start, it was Sorium Felix. They went with fighting for fighting. They utilized that Ruby pick, the last pick they brought to the draft, that even Rain Day called, you know, again, playing around this potential pull, whoever you want to fight, to collapse down on. And it's that Eudora, again, for Kaize, man. He's been coming in clutch throughout the series. And Han showcasing. I mean, look at this, 7-0-5 on that Fanny. What a hell of a series that Han has had, going from utility to assassin. And just an amazing series. We're gonna have to throw it over on stage with Milosh to hear from our winners.
Thank you very much, my friends. It is done. Our first semi-finalist is qualified. It's Yangon Galacticos. Ying is joining us for a quick interview here between us. So please, incredible performance, 3-0. Is this why you chose Pro Esports to play against them? How did you predict that this is how this would go?
အဲ့တော့ရင်းရေ3-3ညနဲ့ဒီပွဲကိုနိုင်သွားပြီတကယ်ကိုကောင်းတဲ့ပွဲပါဂုဏ်ယူပါတယ်အဲ့တော့ဒီ Pro Esports ကိုဒီလိုနိုင်ဖို့အတွက်ဘယ်လိုများရွေးချယ်ခဲ့တာလဲ
ပြင်ဆင်တာပြောရလားဘယ်လိုပြင်ဆင်တာအရှိမှလည်းကျွန်တော်တို့နဲ့တွေ့ပြီဗျာကျွန်တော်တို့2-3နိုင်တာအဲအကြောင်းကျွန်တော်တို့ရွေးဖို့အတွက် confidence ရှိရပြီးတော့သူနဲ့တွေ့ရင်ဘာလို့ရမလဲဆိုတာကျွန်တော်အမြင်နဲ့တွေးတာအဲအကြောင်း
โอเคអ្នកគ្នា យើងចាញ់គេយើងបាត់ stream តែប៉ុណ្្នឹងបានហើយអូខេបាយបាយកាយ